Hey guys, Zelonius here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. This is a very important video. The biggest change we have ever seen to tactics in any FIFA or FC title. The FCIQ system has changed everything. The player roles, I think, are absolutely vital, essential for a number of reasons. In this video, we're going to go through them. We're going to discuss them. I'll probably talk a bit about the ones that I think are really good. I'm going to share with you why I think these are so important and you really need to be taking advantage of it and utilizing it. More than half the people who watch the videos on this channel aren't subscribed. Every single day I'm posting at least 2 videos. Today I'm posting 3. Tactics, gameplay tips, tutorials, player reviews, all that good stuff to help you get better at the game. Get involved, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. The player roles, as you can see, everyone in my team, about 2 players, Jamal and Gomez, have a player style. And I'll go through my team and explain the thought process through that. That should help you to partly understand why they're so important. So we go to team management. This is my tactic. I will be posting it later today on YouTube. So this video is going live first. My 4-4-2 tactics will be going live later today. So we've got this part of the FCIQ system. Obviously, this is important, your formation, how high you play, all that, blah, blah, blah. But I think the player roles are even more important. One thing to note from the start is that player roles, obviously, they have familiarity. So you've got 4 levels. You've got plus plus, so Rolfo, that means they're world class in that role. So she's world class as an attacking wingback. You've got plus, so like Anthony Gordon, he's plus as an inside forward. It means he's accomplished in that role, he's mastered it apparently. No plus, but they can still play the position, is that they're just okay in that role. So Joe Gomez is that, but if you look, he is as a stopper or ball playing defender, he's fine. Are you sick to death of getting out teamed on FC24? Want that God squad you've always been dreaming of? Check out iggm.com today, the best and most reliable place to get coins for your ultimate team. Use the link in the description and code ZEL at checkout for a 5% discount. Check out iggm.com today. And then you've got out of position. So if I put those there, they'd be out of position. It says there, players out of position. Role and focus are simplified. Chance then pick a player hit this position as one of their preferred ones. If you've not tested it already in game, what it seems like when a player's out of position, they are absolutely honking. They are awful. The movement is shocking. It feels like they play with less stats. They still play fine for the most part in terms of if you get them on the ball, they can still dribble like they should. They'd still score. Like if you had Guajara up front, she's still got decent shot. But the movements, the transitions, those all make a big difference. So one thing I would say is never play a player out of position. I think later on in the year, maybe when we have players with near 99, everything, if you have to play them out of position to fit them in, maybe it would work. But it does seem to be a massive detriment. According to EA, in their own deep dive into the new system, they said effectively that the stats for movement, positioning, marking players, making good runs, timing them, all these different things, which are really vital parts of the game, they said those are massively affected by the player roles. Obviously, we can only go off what EA say and then in turn our experience of it. I've probably played 60, 70 games at least now, I would say, on this year's game. I've watched quite a lot of games as well. And for me, and everything else I'm seeing from very good players talking about this game is player roles are vital and make a big difference. In terms of the plus or normal, I do think those make a big difference. There are certain roles where I'm not quite as bothered about. Like I would much rather have plus on every position, sure. But for defenders, I'm really not liking stopper. I think maybe in a 5-back you could, or 3-back where you've got more, you could have a stopper in there. But I find with stopper, it literally says like they step forward. They step forward and they just leave huge gaps, in my opinion, and good players can just play around that. Ball playing defender, it feels like that leaves gaps as well. Maybe again in a 5-back you could have one as a ball playing defender. But the bonuses of them being a bit easier to give the ball to pass, I don't really see that. On this one, they're fine. So this is one where I'd rather have that. Just whatever role that I think, defender. I'd rather have them on normal than the plus ball defender. I don't think it'll make a big difference. Yamal, his role is inside forward. If you look, I mean, to be fair, as a right mid, he don't have any. As a right winger or left winger, he can play it. But this is where a key thing comes in. Would you rather play a formation and tactic that works perfectly with the roles? I'm not saying this is the perfect tactic formation. We probably haven't discovered all that yet. Or would you rather just fit every player into plus plus? This is where I think it's key. It's a balancing act. You shouldn't just force your team to have the best plus pluses in every single position and it just be a completely wacky tactic. If here in my midfield, if both my best players' roles were to be playmakers, it wouldn't be very good because they'd probably just get too far forward. If I was to have two false nines as strikers, probably wouldn't be very good because I'd have no one running in behind. So this, when it comes to team building, you should really, in my opinion, be trying to get a mix of players and roles that suit the team. So the general principle behind this tactic, I will go over it more in depth later today, but is that the inside forward will get in behind, attack, whilst the false nine drops. The attacking wing back will bomb past them where the space is, and then the winger on this side is going to offer more balance. If I was to play Yamal as let's say Yamal did have inside forward plus at right mid, if I was to play him in that role and get more out of him in terms of the plus, I would lose a lot of width on that side. So I'm trying to make sure that my tactic works well, whilst I'm also getting the best out of my players. I do find when players are on plus or plus plus, for example, it does make a difference. So with the poacher one, on the EA deep dive into FCIQ, they talked about the poacher role specifically and said what you should expect if they're on plus plus, what you should expect if they're on plus, and then all the way down to out of position. For out of position, they said they just will ignore their attacking duties. For plus plus, it said they will only attack and constantly look to make these runs in behind. If you've played against Erling Haaland on this game, you will realise how good poacher and just plus plus player roles are in general. I think some positions about as more. Haaland makes just an Osimhen as poacher plus plus two. Just makes the most outrageous, insane runs that are so hard to track. I genuinely think it is very, very good when you have plus plus on players, but I don't want to sacrifice my tactic, the balance of it, to fit those in. This formation that I'm using is a tweak of one that a friend sent me. Originally, he had holding on a player. Because Tonali has deep line playmaker plus, I think holding and deep line playmaker play very similar on centre mids. I've gone for the one that is a plus because it does make them transition better. It does mean when you lose the ball, they suddenly seem to switch on a little bit quicker and get into their defensive position. It does mean when you win the ball back, that players will counter a bit quicker. Would I rather have a winger plus plus here? 100%. I feel like when I get the ball back, a winger plus plus would make runs in behind a lot quicker. Basically, what you're getting when you put higher pluses on players and you get plus plus, you're getting players who will play more effectively and move a lot better, and in turn get the most out of your tactic. There might be some tactics formations that you're going to get a lot more out of when you go and have plus pluses across the board. At this point in the game, when we've not had many promo cards, I don't know if EA's plan is to put players with 3 or 4 plus pluses to make it more versatile. We'll see, but I'd expect that's what they're going to do. As we see that, I think that's when we'll start to really be able to not abuse but get the most out of the new tactic system. So for me to summarise, the plus plus is amazing if you can fit it in, but do not force it in to sacrifice the tactic. And then at the other end, don't ever play a player out of position. One of the negatives of this system, if you want to see it as a negative, is that you can't anymore start in a formation for chemistry and then put a player in a certain position. So, Vinny Jr., he might be someone that you really want to play in the 4-2-3-1 at one of the cam positions. He can't play there, he's out of position. Sure, will he still be okay? Yeah, but it'll be far, far worse. And when you're paying 2 million coins nearly for a player, you don't want that. So think about the players in your team. Obviously, we have a lot of untradeables. Try get the most out of them, but balance it with the tactic. That is my view on FCIQ and the player role system and familiarity. I think it's really important, but I wouldn't be changing everything just to force your team in there. Appreciate you all tuning into this video. If there's any questions, anything you want me to talk about, answer, any videos you want to see in the future, do let me know. As always, I appreciate you guys. Keep it spicy. See you guys in the next one. Peace.